Hello, praise God, my good viewer, and welcome to my amazing and wonderful show, The Anointed Show. With me is Mildred. And on to our today's topic, we are going to learn about our blessings from God, baraka zetu kwa Mungu. And before that, I would like you to go subscribe to my show if you haven't yet subscribed. Go share my video, it may bless one or two people there who will watch this channel. Just drop a comment. It will guide me on what to do. It will encourage me, and like my show, and God is going to bless you abundantly. Welcome back with the message of our blessings from God. We know that mara nyingi tunakosa kuelewa kwamba if we get closer to God and serve Him with all our hearts, there are blessings He has meant for us. It doesn't matter what you are, it doesn't matter who you are, it doesn't matter what you do, it doesn't matter you are going to work. So many of us use that proverb that says that if you don't work, then you must not eat, and it is written from the Bible. But now we fail to understand the work that God meant for us. We fail to understand that. We know that only jobs are the ones where with our careers we are entailed in. We never understand that there are works God created there for us. There are so many works with this. There are so many works with the work of God. There are so very many works. There is work of evangelism. There is work of priesthood. There is work, so many services in the house of God, singing, preaching, ushering. There are so many works. It depends with the gifts God put inside you when He created you. So it doesn't matter. The work does not just mean following your career, basing on that career alone, but having time for Him, creating time for God. You should serve God for those blessings to follow you. And we should not just put our works first before God. First thing we have to do is putting God first, putting God ahead of us, because He always says He is with us, He is there for us, He will be there for us. And we see the Bible is telling us in Matthew 6 verse 33 that but seek first the kingdom of God and His righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. Whatever your heart needs, whatever you want, it will be an addition to what you have, to the blessings God has given you. It will be an added advantage. But He is telling us we should first seek His kingdom and righteousness. And how are we going to seek His kingdom and righteousness? By serving Him, because He created us with only two purposes on this earth or in this world: serving and worshiping Him. Serving Him and worshiping Him. All the other works we call the careers, our jobs we do outside there, or wherever we go on daily basis, they are just our own human understanding works. The ones we created for ourselves, they are not which God created for us. Have you ever served God even first before getting to your work? Have you ever served God? Have you ever created time for God? Have you ever been there for God? Have you even create time to worship Him before you go to that work of yours? And that's why we find we are working, yes. We work so hard to put food to put food on the table. But what happens then? What happens next? Our money just goes like this, like this, like this. They just go out. You don't know what even you are doing with the money. You spend a lot for nothing. You don't know. You don't understand. It is because we haven't created time for our God. We haven't created time to worship Him, time to seek Him, time to serve Him. If we think that those works in the church are for pastors alone, is there a person who was created just to be a pastor? Is there anyone? We are the servants of God. We are all servants. We are all His servants. But we fail to understand. We fail to understand that we are servants of God. And there are so many services we should be serving in the church. There are so many works to do there. And that's why nowadays we don't have even priests to stay there in the church, to be there for these other members of the church, or for people to provide encouragement, to provide advices, to pray for those people. We are all busy working on our works, on our careers. We are all busy. We meet on Sunday, Sunday after Sunday, Sunday to another Sunday. There are no people ready to be there to help other people. Why? Because within our minds and our brains, we think that if we just base on serving God, then we shall fail to have anything. We shall not receive anything. It will be only in vain. And that's why we are busy going on our works, leaving the work of God behind. Who are we expecting to go to do that work if not we? If not I and you? Who are we expecting to go and do those works over there? We were all given talents and gifts before or when we were being created. We were all, each and every person. It's only that we have not committed ourselves to God. We have not committed. We see it as useless thing. We see as not part of our life. We see as not part of us. It is just part for someone else. No. It is all our works. It is all our commitment. It is all our responsibility to be there for our God. And God will drop all His blessings to us. Let's see in Exodus chapter 23, we see how God is going to bless us when we stay close, when we seek Him, when we serve Him, when we worship Him. The blessings we are going to receive from God. We see first, if we want to reach God's blessings, then we must put God first. That is the first point I have here. In order to reach to our blessings, there are things we are supposed to do. Listen to these things you are supposed to do, you as a servant of God. Because I know I'm speaking to the servants of God. There is no person that is not a servant of God. All of us are servants of God. We only fail to understand, or with our ignorance. That's why we doesn't even understand ourselves that we are servants of God. First point is we see that tunapomtumikia Mungu kwa uaminifu vizuri, atabariki chakula chetu na maji yetu. That is first point, and we are going to read it in Exodus chapter 23, from verse 25. Worship the Lord your God, and his blessings will be on your food and water. First point. And what does or how does it start? Worship the Lord your God, and his blessings will be on your food and water. The food you go very early in the morning to search, to come and put it on the table for people to serve. The water you go find or seek, God will put his blessings on that food and on that water. And when he has put his blessings on that food or on that water, food will never end in your house. It will never. He will fill each and every portion you would have wanted it to be full. Second one, I will take away sickness from among you. I will take away sickness from among you. Hakuna mtu atakaye kuwa mgonjwa. Atatuondolea magonjwa yanayotutesa. Then it continues saying that, and none will miscarry or be barren in your land. No one will miscarry. No one will have miscarriage. No one will be barren. But why are we suffering from sicknesses, from barrenness, from miscarriage? Why are we suffering? It is because we haven't created time to worship our God. We are busy with our own works that even don't help us. We need good names. We need to be happy. But how will you be happy if you don't put God first in your life? You don't seek him. You don't have time to worship him. You don't serve him. How are you going, how are you expecting to be happy in your life? How do you expect sickness not to follow you? How do you expect barrenness not to follow you? Let's continue. And none will miscarry or be barren in your land. I will give you a full lifespan. I will give you a full lifespan. We see nowadays people die prematurely. People die so premature. They are not like those the earlier people that came before us. Our grandfathers, grand aunts, grand uncles, grandmothers who went before us. They were there and they knew those. And that's why those people were living so many years. Why? They were ready for God. They were the biggest servants of God. But nowadays, digital things has come into our lives, misleading us. And we think that we are in the right way. And the Bible is telling us that there is a way that seems right to a person. And that way, in the end, leads to death. But we don't hear, we don't listen. We see everything just okay. The way we lead our lives, we see it okay. We never even think twice about the life we are leading today. We are happy celebrating digital things, celebrating big hospitals. Why are there hospitals? Why are there good doctors? But people die so prematurely. They die in plenty. Why? Previous day or previous week, I was in a hospital. like um, like a week nursing one person of my family members. And I came to notice that that hospital, they make sure that each day they operate 2 or 3 people in a day. 2 or 3 people in a day pass through a knife, pass through operation. Why should it be so? Why, people? Let's open our minds. Let's open. Let's see. Let's open our eyes and see. It is not just obvious thing. It is not usual thing. It is because of today's our good doctors we see they are good, they are learned. Why are those things there happening today? The sicknesses we don't even understand where they are coming from. The sicknesses which they can't even heal with our own understanding and minds and knowledge. Why? Why don't we open up our eyes and see how the world is moving? How this life is leading us? How this digital things is leading us? Why? Why don't we see these things? Why don't we turn to our God and worship Him? Why don't we turn to our God and serve Him? Why don't we seek God in our lives? Servants of God, we need to go back. We need to go back. We really need to go back. This life, yes, you will enjoy, you will have money, you will have good names, big names, you will be famous, but just for a little while. If you don't go back and worship God and serve Him, if you don't go back and create time for God. And we see people of darkness, they are so faithful, and that's why they are most prosperous people. And they tell us it is God's doings. It is God's. It's not the true God we are serving. They have their God. Each and every person has his God. There are people with shrines outside there. There are people with shrines in their houses. There are people with shrines in the oceans and rivers, big lakes. There are shrines there of worship. They serve and worship their gods. While we are just there seated, busy working. And that's why we become their servants. They employ us while they don't serve our true and living God. Why? Why are they challenging us? It is because we fail to be faithful to our God. And when we fail to be faithful to our God, while they are faithfully to their God, that's why they are challenging us so much. Why should we not go back and turn our ways to serve and worship God? Why should we not have time for our God? I'm still speaking to you, servants of God. Let's continue. It says again in verse 27, I will send my terror ahead of you and throw into confusion every nation you encounter. I will make all your enemies turn their backs and run. Why do we worry? Why are we anxious? As if God doesn't exist. It is because we lack knowledge. And this knowledge we shall find it in this holy book, the Bible, the Word. And the Word is the light. It lights everything in our life. But we don't want to read this Word. We don't want to have it. We don't want to have time to read it and study it and understand it and call the Holy Spirit to come and open our eyes to see. We don't have that time. All the truth is in this Bible. We fail to follow. We say that, it is just the work of the pastors alone. That's their work. Church members, that's their work. Are you not one of those members? You are a servant of God. Change your ways, change your minds. You need to change and receive these blessings from our God. I will send the Oned ahead of you to drive the Hivites, Canaanites, and Hittites out of your way. We have blessings, yes. We work, yes. But there are enemies outside there in search for those blessings God blessed us with. They bring sicknesses into our lives to eat and consume all the blessings we have worked for. Why? We are not God seekers. We are not God's servants. We are not God's worshippers. That's why they come in and overtake everything that we have. They take away. And we think that, hey, it is just life. Life has ups and downs. Let's open our minds. Let's have knowledge for this God. It continues saying that, but I will not drive them out in a single year, because the land will become desolate, and the wild animals too numerous for you. Little by little I will drive them out before you, until you have increased enough to take possession of the land. Until you have increased enough to take the whole possession of the land. He will be driving them, or those enemies of ours, little by little, little by little. That's why when we are sick, we expect quick healing. We expect a miracle, to be sick in a day and to heal in a day. No. Those are the enemies we are having. The poverty. He will be taking it slowly by slowly. When we decide ourselves to serve God, when we decide ourselves to turn to God and seek Him, when we decide to come and worship God, He will be driving them bit by bit, small by small, little by little, as they go, as we increase. The way He removes little, we increase. The way He removes sickness, we increase in our wealth. The way He removes poverty, we increase in our wealth. We increase in our family. To fully take the position of the Lord of the land He promised us to have. The blessings God promised us to have. And His promises never fail. They come to pass when we are ready for them. How are we going to be ready? Tujitolee, tumtafute Bwana, tumtumikie na tumwabudu. Na yote ni kumwabudu katika roho na kweli, worshiping the Lord in truth and in spirit from inside our hearts. God is going to remove all our enemies, and our life is going to be very much okay. And another thing we need to do is tuachane na watu wengine, watu ambao wanatuzuia kutafuta huyu Mungu. People who mislead us. There are so many. They will tell you, yes, you have a good job, you are famous, you have a good name, you have a big name, you have a big company. What are you going again to go and search for God? Let's leave alone those people. We see Abraham and Lot. It was a must for Abraham to be blessed. He separates himself from Lot. It was a must thing to do. And that's why we are being encouraged that there are people we need to separate with in our life, because they are the barriers of our blessings. They are the blocks. From their words, they discourage us, knowing that there are blessings ahead of us. They discourage us from seeking our God. And that's why Abraham was told to separate himself from Lot. That's why his blessings delayed. And that's why again he was told to separate himself from his family. Because we see his father Terah was a witchcraft, muganga. They used to go or walk or live in sorcery. They used to worship and create their own gods and worship the idols. And that's why he was told, before I bless you, you must separate yourself from the land of your father. You must leave each and every person. And that's why he stayed long, his blessings was delayed. He stayed long with barrenness. And God had promised him that your blessings will be as numerous as the stars of the sky. Can you